Every time Katt Williams opens his mouth, Hollywood trembles. He doesn't just crack jokes, he cracks open secrets that powerful people would rather stay buried. And this time, his words have sparked a firestorm that refuses to die down. For years, whispers have swirled about Diddy and the circles around him, but what Katt hinted at goes far beyond industry gossip. He suggested that tapes exist, footage so damaging it could topple reputations and expose some of the biggest names in entertainment. It wasn't just the claim itself that shook people, but the eerie silence that followed. When megastars who are usually loud on social media suddenly vanish, delete posts, or pretend nothing happened, fans can't help but wonder what they're hiding. Then came the rumors of a so-called list, a roster of A-listers supposedly caught up in Diddy's secret world. From Hollywood icons to pop royalty, the names being whispered are nothing short of shocking. But instead of speaking out, many of them have stayed quiet, and that silence is fueling even more speculation. What makes this story impossible to ignore is that it isn't just about celebrity drama. It's about the patterns, the coincidences, and the unanswered questions stacking up one after another. And every new revelation seems to circle back to the same man and the same disturbing allegations. So, what exactly did Katt Williams reveal, and why are so many stars acting like they've got something to lose? Katt Williams has never been afraid to say the things other celebrities tiptoe around. For years, he's built a reputation not just as a comedian, but as someone who calls out the industry's darkest corners. And while many dismissed his outbursts as wild rants, time has a strange way of making Katt look less like a troublemaker and more like a truth teller. In one of his most talked about interviews, Katt dropped a bombshell. He claimed there are tapes, evidence of stars doing things they'd never want the world to see. According to him, these recordings aren't accidents, they're leverage, the kind of material that keeps even the most powerful names in line. The way he put it, Hollywood isn't just about talent or fame, it's about control. And whoever holds the tapes holds the power. Fans didn't brush it off either. They pointed to moments in Katt's career where he spoke out before, about shady deals, hidden agendas, or sudden downfalls, only for his words to later seem eerily accurate. That track record made people pause. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't another wild story. And that's where things started snowballing. Because if Katt was right, and tapes really existed, then the question wasn't just who might be on them, but why so many celebrities suddenly seemed nervous. But Katt wasn't the only one pulling the curtain back. Around the same time, whispers of a mysterious list began circulating online, and the names attached to it would leave fans stunned. When the whispers of a so-called list started spreading online, fans couldn't believe the names being attached to it. This wasn't some random collection of unknowns. It allegedly included some of the biggest stars on the planet: Leonardo DiCaprio, Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, Usher, Megan Fox. The kind of names you'd never expect to see grouped together, except in blockbuster headlines. The claim was simple but explosive, that these A-listers had all, at one point or another, been connected to Diddy's infamous gatherings. And once the rumor took hold, people online started digging. Photos, old interviews, and blurry paparazzi shots suddenly became evidence in a growing online investigation. Of course, there was no hard proof, no official document, no verified list. But the internet thrives on speculation. And when fans noticed that some of these celebrities had already been linked to past controversies or scandals, the theory didn't seem as far-fetched. The comparisons to Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book only added fuel to the fire, creating a sense that something much bigger was hiding beneath the surface. What really grabbed people's attention, though, wasn't just the list itself, it was the silence surrounding it. These are celebrities who normally clap back at rumors within hours, who know how to control a narrative with a single post. Yet this time, the response was nothing. And that silence spoke louder than any denial. Because not long after, fans noticed strange behavior on social media, behavior that only deepened suspicions. The first red flag came when Usher suddenly wiped a chunk of his Instagram, claiming he'd been hacked. For most celebrities, a hack usually means leaked DMs or embarrassing photos, but in this case, nothing was exposed, just posts disappearing into thin air. To fans already watching closely, it felt less like a hack and more like damage control. Then Megan Fox, out of nowhere, deleted her entire Instagram account. Around the same time, Pink also wiped her socials clean. To casual followers, it may have seemed like coincidence, but to those tuned into the Diddy controversy, the timing was impossible to ignore. Why would stars with massive platforms suddenly vanish just as rumors about this list were catching fire? In Hollywood, deleting your digital footprint isn't random. It's a strategy. Whether it's to bury old posts, reset a brand image, or quietly distance yourself from controversy, it's almost always calculated. And the more celebrities who began scrubbing their pages, the more fans started connecting dots. Were they trying to erase traces of old connections? Or was the silence itself a way of not drawing attention to the rumors? Instead of calming speculation, the wipeouts only made it worse. Fans began digging deeper, resurfacing old interviews and party stories that suddenly looked very different in light of the allegations. And one of the clips that reemerged was particularly unsettling. It involved Khloe Kardashian recalling a wild night at a Diddy party that no one could stop talking about. Out of nowhere, an old interview of Khloe Kardashian began making the rounds online, and in today's context, it raised a lot of eyebrows. In the clip, Khloe casually describes flying out to one of Diddy's famous parties. At the time, she laughs as she tells the story, but the details she shares are anything but lighthearted. She mentions walking into a room where half the guests were barely dressed, with the kind of atmosphere that screamed excess and secrecy. Back then, Khloe brushed it off as just another crazy Hollywood night, something to giggle about on camera. But fans who dug the clip back up weren't laughing. Instead, they saw it as a glimpse into the world Katt Williams and others had been warning about. The striking thing wasn't just the story itself, it was how normal Khloe made it sound. No shock, no judgment, just another party in the Hollywood circuit. That casual tone now feels eerie, as if everyone in the industry already knew how these gatherings worked, but chose to keep it behind closed doors. And with Khloe's status as part of the Kardashian empire, one of the most media-savvy families alive, it begged the question, if even she was talking openly about it, how much deeper did things really go? This clip reignited online debates and set the stage for the next wave of speculation, because not long after, the spotlight shifted to someone else who had once been very close to Diddy, Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber's name has hovered around Diddy for years, and it's a connection fans can't seem to stop questioning. When Bieber first exploded onto the scene as a teenager, Diddy was one of the first industry giants to take him under his wing. Photos and videos from that era show the two hanging out together, sometimes in settings that felt far too adult for someone Bieber's age. One clip in particular resurfaced recently, showing a young Bieber jokingly calling out Diddy for not keeping in touch. In the footage, Bieber laughs, but the dynamic feels strange, almost like a kid reminding an older figure about promises that were never kept. Fans rewatching it now point out the uneasy undertones, especially given what's since been alleged about Diddy's private lifestyle. The speculation only intensified when people started piecing together how many child stars and up and coming artists seemed to orbit around Diddy's circle during that time. With Bieber, the timing was especially alarming. He was barely out of his teens, yet suddenly immersed in the world of high profile parties and powerful figures. Over the years, Bieber himself has dropped cryptic comments about Hollywood, hinting at dark things he witnessed when he was younger. Those comments, paired with his old ties to Diddy, have led fans to wonder if he saw more than he ever let on. And if Bieber's past involvement raised eyebrows, what came next was even more alarming, because other stars started speaking out in ways that directly fueled the speculation. Over the years, rumors and speculation online have surrounded several figures connected to Diddy who passed under controversial circumstances. Kim Porter, Diddy's longtime partner, suddenly died in 2018, leaving fans shocked and raising questions about the circumstances surrounding her death. Similarly, Shakir Stewart, a music executive closely linked to Diddy's label, died in 2008 under circumstances that many online forums have scrutinized, fueling theories about patterns of tragedy among those in his orbit. These stories are often presented online with whispers of coincidences, unanswered questions, and alleged cover ups. Some point to other associates who met untimely ends, claiming that a disturbing pattern seems to repeat itself around Diddy's inner circle. While concrete evidence is scarce, the speculation alone has cemented a public perception that there's more to these deaths than meets the eye. Social media threads and fan forums have dissected every detail, connecting dots between events that mainstream reporting often glosses over. The recurring theme of sudden deaths and rumors has intensified scrutiny on Diddy, painting a picture of a life where privilege and danger coexist. Observers note that every new controversy seems to echo past incidents, suggesting a cycle that fans find both unsettling and irresistible to follow. And while all of this was unfolding, Diddy's legal troubles only got darker, adding yet another layer of intrigue to a story that continues to captivate and disturb fans around the world. Diddy's legal troubles took a dramatic turn when federal authorities charged him with serious offenses, including racketeering and trafficking. The severity of the charges immediately grabbed headlines, especially after reports surfaced that he was denied bail, signaling the government's concern over the alleged scope and influence of his operations. This wasn't just another celebrity arrest. It was being treated like a full-scale federal investigation into organized crime. The raids connected to the case drew intense media attention, with many comparing them to the high-profile operations against Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein. Images of agents swarming luxury properties and meticulously cataloging evidence painted a scene that seemed straight out of a crime thriller. Observers noted that, like those previous cases, the raids were highly coordinated and pointed to a network of operations far beyond what was publicly visible. Law enforcement sources added to the intrigue by hinting that witnesses had seen things that could drastically impact the case. While details remain under wraps, these comments have fueled speculation that insiders from Diddy's inner circle may hold critical information, intensifying the pressure on him and his associates. Social media and fan forums have erupted with theories, connecting dots from past controversies to the unfolding federal investigation. Which is why Katt Williams' words hit even harder today, echoing in a way that feels chillingly prescient given the legal storm now surrounding one of the most powerful figures in hip-hop. Katt Williams has long been known for speaking blunt truths, often cutting through the polished veneer of celebrity culture with a mix of humor, frustration, and insight. His reputation for calling out powerful figures without hesitation gives his words a weight that most comedians or commentators can't match. When he hints at troubling truths or shares pointed observations about people in the entertainment industry, audiences take notice. And remember, in the wake of Diddy's federal case, fans have begun revisiting Katt's past interviews with a fresh perspective. Statements that once seemed like casual commentary or hyperbolic humor are now being examined for possible insight into the darker corners of the music world. Clips of him speaking candidly about controversial behavior, alleged power plays, and industry secrets are circulating widely online, reigniting debates and speculation. Social media threads dissect every phrase, attempting to connect his observations to unfolding legal and personal events surrounding Diddy. Katt's influence doesn't just amplify public interest, it keeps the story alive in the broader cultural conversation. Even without new evidence, his voice acts as a catalyst, framing the narrative in a way that mainstream reporting often avoids. Fans, commentators, and conspiracy theorists alike rely on his perspective to question what's being reported and what may still be hidden. In an era where celebrity missteps are quickly forgotten, Katt Williams ensures that the controversies surrounding Diddy remain in the spotlight, fueling both fascination and scrutiny. This controversy refuses to fade, lingering in the public eye because of a perfect storm: resurfaced clips, unanswered questions, celebrity silence, and the undeniable influence of Katt Williams. Each piece, whether it's a past interview, a social media post, or an old video, adds fuel to a fire that never fully died out. Fans and commentators continue to dig, debate, and speculate, driven by the sense that something bigger is hiding just beneath the surface. The silence of those involved only amplifies the intrigue. Every unanswered question, every skipped interview, and every carefully worded statement leaves room for speculation. In a culture obsessed with transparency and scandal, the lack of explanation from key figures keeps curiosity high and rumors alive. Meanwhile, Katt Williams' blunt commentary adds a layer of credibility to the ongoing discussion, reminding the public that these patterns of controversy and alleged misconduct are not isolated incidents. They are part of a larger, recurring narrative. Even as legal proceedings unfold and public attention shifts, the story refuses to completely die. Clips and statements are resurfaced, debates are reignited, and the questions remain. Who knows the full truth? Who will speak up? The narrative has become a living cycle, sustained by curiosity, suspicion, and the occasional bold voice willing to challenge the status quo. Which leaves us with the final, haunting question: will these names stay silent forever, or will someone finally step into the spotlight and break the cycle? The answer remains uncertain, but the public's fascination and the pressure for truth shows no signs of letting go.